Hey, time for another draft physics video presentation and comments. So this ought to be somewhat entertaining. So as usual, they have nothing but lies. So all they can do is lie about events in my life, what I've done on YouTube, what my videos say. They just can't make any kind of on the subject counter argument. Nothing. So, a character named Miles Davis, who apparently is one of the brave flat earther fighters. Okay, but he's the lower tier ones. So I guess I gotta ask him, how much do I have to pay you to engage in a hopefully civil interaction where you explain how your physics is so good and it's so reasonable and it's so well proven, and I argue how no, it isn't any of those things, and that some of it's overtly religion. You can explain how you know the history of mv squared and you know it's reliable good science, that it came to save the day because Newton was an idiot and we had to fix energy because Newton had it all wrong. Yeah, I can inquire of you. What do you know about any of this? How are you so sure? Oh, it's all good science. No, it isn't. Sorry. And that's what the facts will reveal if you allow the facts to be heard. But in part of their effort to get the facts not heard, they do this kind of slimy stuff. So he says, sad man desperate for attention puts Simon Dan in the title. So yeah, the video was me mocking him, so I think he should be in the title. And clearly, I think when they do this to flat earthers, you often name the flat earther you're arguing with. So that shouldn't be too surprising. I mean, it seems like a courtesy, frankly. If you're going to make a video about me, I'd like you to put my name in the title, thank you. Not my personal name, my screen name. I guess I have to explain that to you people. You scientists need that explained to you. I have a screen name, you see, and you use that. Anyway, in the title, hoping to get more views. So let's just figure to some extent that is true. I mean, if somebody's protesting something, they don't go out in the middle of the woods and tell the squirrels, that, hey, Google sucks and it's a cheater and it's a thief and we should fix it. They don't do that. They go attempt to have the argument someplace where their protest might be heard and people might understand and join the cause. That kind of thing. And so now he's made that a slimy thing to do. Okay, so anytime you see a protest and they're doing it on Times Square or something, just say it's all illegitimate because they're just attention whores. Yeah, of course they're attention whores. That's right. That's the whole object of the adventure. Okay, it's like saying having a war is trespassing. I mean, it's really stupid. Yeah, of course it's trespassing. It's unethical. You trespassed. Anyway, so, whatever. I mean, there's no way nobody could win. I mean, this is just catch-22. Go watch the movie. You're being ludicrous. Or read the book. All right, subs and attention from Dan. So first off, unlike Dan, my channel's not monetized. So I want these subs for what other purpose than to talk to them? Yeah, well, for what other reason do I want them? What other utility do they have? Quite pathetic, he says. So, I mean, this is their reasoning. So let's understand, these are the fighters for science. They're saving us from the liars and the connivers and the cheaters with this kind of brilliant logic. Yeah, okay. Pretty sure he'll delete this or block this. Well, it is a lie, this comment. So, I mean, it is just sitting there. You're just making an accusation for which you have zero evidence. I mean, I can argue you have no evidence regarding my intentions. I would argue, though, that I can sort of prove over 10 years that I've talked to people with 2 subscribers. I'll talk to people with 10 subscribers. I don't care how many subscribers they have. But obviously, it's a lot more fun to knock down the big people than the little people. Okay, so when you're having, like if you're looking to get a title match, you know, and win the World Heavyweight Championship, you know, you don't go beat up some midgets. You know, it's not going to get you your title shot. So yeah, I'm looking for a credible argument. So, you know, anyway. So there's no way to win. Like I said, anybody can do this to anybody. They can just make these veiled accusations and oblige you to defend yourself against a veiled accusation that doesn't have any evidence. Again, these are people fighting for something called integrity, using arguments this base, this foul. You know, this is just, like I said, this is as bad as the flat earthers using the, you know, reflected image or some other kind of crap. You know, it's a reflection off somebody's helmet, it's distorted, blah, 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 blah. You know, and saying, there is proof. You know. So they're guilty of the same kind of shenanigans. I mean, they don't want to tell you the truth. They just want to lie about reality also, because that's all they have is their lies. They can't make a credible argument. So again, how much do I have to pay you, Miles? How much cash do I have to put in your PayPal account to get you to man up? And first, you can just defend that accusation. For what evidence did you base it on? Any at all? No. Okay. AB Science. So then AB Science engages in the lie. So in another video on AB Science's own channel, you know, which I will publicly display on my website, the whole conversation, he sits there and engages with somebody who lies. So somebody just says something like, I didn't pay Stephen Bro money I owed him. Now, it's completely a lie. Stephen Bro had started the lie by implying he was ripped off somehow. Right? I never promised him a goddamn thing, right? I never made any agreement, never even implied I was going to pay him any money ever. Okay? It was never even implied. And there was only one time when he started spending a bunch of money I never authorized him to spend. He never talked to me about what he was buying, never engaged at all in letting me know what was going on at all. And I felt guilty, and I said to him, well, Steve, you want me to, you know, chip in or something? And he said, no, 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 no. So those are the facts. All right, so the fact that Steve can't tell the story honestly has led to a bunch of other people lying. And that's all it is. So, you know, that's all they have. So that's all they come to this channel with is lie, lie, lie. So, and then AB Science, who's supposed to be giving a shit about having something called integrity, he calls himself some nice guy, you know, here he is engaging with people based on evidence he doesn't have. He has no evidence to back up what he's doing, you know, engaging in some sort of, yes, I agree, boy, he sure has that character. What did you base it on? Do you have any evidence? No. And so he encourages the behavior and then pretends I'm not responsible. You know, when his people do these harassments and these lies. So again, here he is saying, you know, basically jumping in. So he says, oh, Miles, you don't know the half of it. He's been thirsty for my attention for about a year now. Now that was hilarious just because AB Science doesn't have many more subscribers than I have. You know, I mean 1,000 maybe. Doesn't get more than, you know, a few hundred views on his videos, average. About around, you know, a little better than me, but not much better. Well, how exactly am I subscriber hunting then, AB Science? Why am I harassing you? Why am I thirsty for your attention? Oh, that's because you're a credible scientist. And that would be the exact kind of adversary I would want. An adversary that's supposed to be competent, capable of handling himself. You know, it'd be a good fight. But, you know, you're a coward, so you won't do it. You know, I can keep saying, name your price, and you won't name any price. All right, so I responded to that by just pointing out the hypocrisy, so I'll read my comment anyway. You must have some ironic duplicity disorder, you know. His accusation is I'm hunting subscribers to my non-monetized channel. You're a very small fish in the pond. If I was just seeking views, why would I pick on you? So again, it's just ironically funny that he AB Science shows up to basically counter Miles' argument, and he doesn't know that's exactly what he's doing. He's actually disagreeing with Miles and pointing out how, look, he even argues with us little fish. You know, somehow that proves I'm just subscriber hunting. I mean, it's just so funny. I mean, the irony. It's just so funny. Anyway, obviously you provide evidence that I'm not after views. I'm after a good fight. One where winning will mean something. Yes, you know, I didn't paint my protest sign and go into a dark dead-end alley and, you know, point my sign at the brick wall and go, look, 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 look. I'm fighting for justice. Yeah, I didn't do that because that would be stupid. Oh, fuck. Anyway, where winning will mean something. Unlike a low fruit picking crowd, unlike your low fruit picking crowd, right? And that's all they are. Let's just mock silly, retarded. What did the dumbest person on America say today? Let's make a TV show out of it. For money. Yeah, fuck these people. Oh, yeah, they're scientists. I want the best fighter your side has got. Yes, I'm looking for a really good fight. Because the lame fight where somebody just talks about a bunch of lies I heard on the internet that you're this and you're that. you know, I don't want to do that show. Anyway, all you got is coward all the way down. I'll ask again, how much do I have to pay you to make a video or show me wrong, to show me wrong, or for a debate? I'm going to take any one, either one. Make a video, play my video. How much do I have to pay you to do any of this engaging the actual arguments I'm making? How much do I have to pay you to actually pay attention to the actual arguments being made? Answer my questions, for example. All right, and so this other idiot chimes in, who is probably Farley. Okay, so the troll who just keeps making sock accounts and pretending to be different people. Oh, and he's put my name in it, so we can't play with that. All right, so never mind. Let me pause and I'll fix that. Yeah, so we'll just finish reading it. I mean, I don't want to delete the other comments by deleting his comment yet and all that crap. So anyway, you know, but this is, you know, this is what the defenders of physics have to do, is dox people. And again, you know, it's unfortunate. I mean, like I said, I didn't care about my name when I lived in a house by myself, but I don't. Now the address means something. The name means something to other people. So all they're doing is threatening other people. That's all they're doing. So understand that. Just understand how tacky, how bad the ethics are of this person, you know, that you're engaging with. Anyway, if either of you are considering debating Gary, keep in mind that he will never actually pay up. So first off, any logical person knows they can get paid half the money in advance, all that kind of stuff. So that's no big deal. And frankly, there's absolutely no evidence that I've never paid anybody. So this is just another lie perpetrated. So Stephen, just understand who you are and what you are. Because, you know, technically the person who makes the lie first is the one responsible. So when you make an accusation, recognize that if you're inciting other people to make the same accusation, you can be responsible for all the damage caused by all the people who repeat what you say. So if you lie about somebody and you get other people to lie, you'll be responsible for all of the damage. All of it. Okay. Stephen Bro is still waiting for his payment for his experiment. So I owe Stephen Bro no money. I've never had any contract to pay him anything. I never agreed to pay him a single dime ever. He'll never produce any evidence that he ever gave me his PayPal account to pay him anything. There's no evidence I owed him any money ever, 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 ever. So this is all just a fucking lie. And again, this is what they have to resort to. Okay, if either of you decide to go forward, bear in mind that is a vitriolic snob, whatever the fuck that could possibly mean. So again, there's no evidence of any of this snob bullshit, who will go after you personally. So obviously this is their function. They're the only ones who can do the personal attack crap. There's no evidence I've ever gone after anyone personally. I haven't even come close to giving a shit about their real names or who they are or what they've done or any of that horse shit. I only care about arguments. That's the solid evidence of my 20 years or so on the internet. And you'll never find evidence of anything else. Well, 25, 30 years on the internet. He's done it before, so big fat lie. Okay. He'll do it again. He will tell suicidal people to go off themselves. So again, there's absolutely no evidence that I tell other people what to do. And there is every evidence that I tell suicidal people it'd be really great if you stuck around because we need more people fighting for justice and all that kind of crap, or there won't be any. So I'd rather you not quit. Okay, so, you know. So again, there's just no evidence of any of this shit. And why would telling somebody who's in pain to keep suffering, why would that be an admirable thing exactly? So anyway, even these arguments are so stupid, and they're in the middle of these lies. I mean, will bring up dead family members. Yeah, after somebody else does the same thing, in the sense that they go way too personal. And so there's absolutely no evidence that I did anything to attack Piro at all. I didn't make videos titled Piro's a fucking idiot until Piro made videos saying I was. All right, so Piro started the fight, and then Piro decided to say my physics was based on the fact that I have an anxiety disorder. It's like saying my physics is some sort of reaction to the fact that I have vertigo. It's idiotic and retarded and way too personal, and it's none of his business, and he had no right to do it. So, yeah, I fought back. Okay, there's no bar too low for Gary, so just more bullshit. There's no bar too low for you people, quite obviously. Again, you have to keep using my name as if you own my name. My name is your property somehow. So you're overtly showing you don't have any respect for possession at all. You know. None. No mad fight to slimy and putrid. No mud fight. So again, more nonsense. I have no interest in the mud fights. Clearly, there's no evidence of me going out and finding somebody just to sit there and get into their personal life. None whatsoever. So again, you can just keep lying, but that's all it is lying. You won't find comments of mine on other people's videos that are all personal. None of that. So it's all just lies. All right, anyway. Forewarned is forewarned. Some kind of crap like that. Forearmed. Yeah, well, that's what you're supposed to say. Forearmed. But anyway. I mean, yeah. Well, there's nothing to say. So these are the kind of people these assholes will engage with. So somebody who just used somebody else's, who just doxed somebody in the comments, and they just keep on talking like, oh yeah, that's not a problem, we'll keep doing that. Amazing. All right, so he responds to my comment, no. Well, that's brilliant. I said you were seeking attention. Yeah, again, how am I supposed to have an argument if I don't seek it? And who am I supposed to have an argument with? So you would, if you were me and you wanted to have an argument with somebody competent to make a counter argument, what would your brilliant strategy be? Oh, that's right, you wouldn't have one. Of course, one way you get attention is through having more subscribers. So, yeah, but again, so you think you have some sort of evidence that all I want is attention? Well, then why would I have made a draft physics channel in the first place? Why wouldn't I just stay on my other channel that gets thousands of views? Why wouldn't I make videos on that channel instead of this channel? Sorry, yeah, it doesn't add up, fuckhead. Now I'm making the mistake of giving you attention for replying to a comment, so I won't be responding to you again unless you... I mean, it's a fucking hilarious, right? Catch 22, catch 22, catch 22. I mean, You just can't play the game by, you know, this rule control. I will not allow you to make an argument, and then I won't allow you to make one that I'll respond to. But if I respond to it, well, then I'll take points off because I responded to your argument. I mean, how do you win with this logic? All right, to you again, unless you say or write something worthy of it. So I could ask the questions all over again that were already on AB Science's video that I'm pleading for you to answer, and you won't answer. I have the 3 10-minute videos. Please debunk them. Please, please, please. How much do I have to pay you to debunk one of them? I mean, shit. No, that's not worthy of a counter argument of any kind. All right, anyway. Let's see. Sometimes worthy of it. Write something that's worthy of it. In future, my silence will stand as a statement. So there they go. My cowardice will stand as a statement. Yes, it does stand as a statement. You are cowards. You can't do anything but attack somebody personally. You don't have anything called evidence. You don't have anything called a credible argument. You don't have any integrity as human beings. You're just terrible scumbags. And one can just wonder, you know, how did you become that kind of a scum? Did your professor teach you to be a scum? I mean, did you read it in Newton's writing somewhere? Be a scum? Anyway, let's see. It's the videos. My silence will stand as a statement that your videos are so bad and contain so much incorrect and muddled thinking that they are worthy of are not worthy of comment. That they are worthy of comment. So you're missing the not. That they are unworthy. Oh, sorry. There it is. There's the not. So, okay. So what's the counter? There's no counter. So you said you disposed of my argument by disposing of it. By ignoring it and running away from it. So that's all. That's his response. His response is those 3 videos that nobody has debunked. Nobody has in any way shown any of it to be not possible. Nobody's shown how it's not a better model of the reality. Nothing. Absolutely zero. And he's saying, well, it's already done. Yeah, that's so bad that nobody has to argue it. And you're saying my rational response should be what? To think what about you as a human being? I mean, you're just so low. I mean, you're just such a coward. Because you're on the popular, you're in the popular group, you're not just behaving like a bully and an asshole? Of course you are. So that's what you've done. So you've written something on your tombstone right now. So I'm just letting you know. You just wrote something on your tombstone. Okay? And it's not going to be, what a great guy. It's going to be another clock stopper. Another guy who is afraid to man up, okay, and push the human race into the future. To support it in doing right things, not wrong things. You're just part of the wrong. You're just part of the mistake. The error code. And it's not, obviously it's not even error code. Because it's so overtly cowardly. It's so overtly based on no facts. Alright. Despicable. Despicable people. Just despicable. So paralogic. Okay, yeah, so this is angular momentum, so I'm not even going to bother with that in this video. I haven't even watched the whole... I mean, it's just some stupid frickin' live room thing, and they never even get around to getting to the subject, and it's some wacky paper and some... I mean, the whole thing doesn't look very credible to me on the surface, and you're really asking me to waste an hour or more of my time on an argument on angular momentum, which I don't even know if there is such a thing. There's momentum. You know, every moment your momentum's changing. You know, it's just more obvious when things are spinning. Anyway. Alright, so the Gimp. So this is supposed to be a person of some kind. This is what he chooses. He's some sort of superhero or something in spandex or something. I can't tell. Anyway, you claim to not have any traditions. I don't think I said that. I just say that I wasn't susceptible, you know, to what other people seem susceptible to, which is just becoming a family person or a group thing. I wasn't doing the, you know, an American and I'm, you know, a New Jerseyan, or at the time a Louisianian. You know, I really wasn't playing that game. Anyway, that you don't attach to things, yet you seem attached to the belief the globe Earth model. Yeah, and I'm attached for a good reason was my whole point. The point is there's a difference between becoming attached because mommy says so, or everybody else is doing it, and becoming attached because you logically understand. Isn't the spherical Earth theory formed with the same physics? So clearly the spherical Earth theory was, you know, as I point out in the video, might be more than 1,000 years old. I mean, it's obviously not the same physics, is it? Anyway, that you're asserting to be false through DraftScience. So clearly the difference is evidence theory versus unevidence theory is the substance of the channel, frankly. And recognizing that the unevidence theory needs examination because those theories, those explanations are on their face kind of silly. I mean, again, I could just argue these simple points over and over again, but, you know, realistically, you know, once we knew that light moves the same speed as magnetism, moves the same speed as gravity, don't you think that should have clicked and you said, well, maybe bent space isn't going to be a brilliant answer. You know, some whole new paradigm of function isn't going to really make sense that it comes out to be exactly the same speed. The bending of the space happens at exactly the same speed that the virtual photons are bouncing around. I mean, that's right on its face telling you, come on, you can do better than this. All right, anyway, so I responded, if I ask you to produce evidence of a spherical Earth, you could probably link me to 1 million videos. So, just a fact. Tons of evidence for that one. Unfortunately, you can produce no videos showing kinetic energy being collected. Just a fact. Or bent space moving something. Just a fact. The spherical Earth was understood long before Newton's time. I'm arguing physics after Newton. I clearly say it on my webpage, actually. You know, that post-Newton is where we got to go start, but pre-Einstein, because obviously it all went silly. I mean, we all got thrown into the silly-verse in the early 1900s when science turned back into religion. And that's, you know, frankly, you could say the day Newton died is the day it turned back into religion, because the people who tried to turn Leibniz's religion into physics is, you know, that was certainly a bad turn. So anyway, so this is the asshole from before. All right, you've been provided. Oh, this is a great response. Okay, you've been provided with proof of these things many times over. So that's just a big fat lie. So I requested you can email me the links to all the proof. I would like to make a video of your proof. So send me the links for your great proofs of any of the comments, anything that's been a proof that I'm wrong about something. I'm all for making a video about it. But they can't produce any of it. They can't publicly. So he could post this comment, but he couldn't post a single link to a single piece of any of this proof of anything. Anyway, you've seen the gravitational lensing images. Yes, I've displayed them in my videos and pointed out how they make mathematically 0 sense. So they violate about, you know, at least a few dozen mathematical laws. Okay, and they certainly aren't consistent with anything Einstein believed. And, you know, you can go on and on. I mean, Einstein said overtly, you'll never see an Einstein ring because it's so tiny. It's tiny, 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 because the gravitational lens isn't a good viewing lens. So it's only going to be able to lens the ring that's very, very tiny bit of space. Very, very few photons. So you'll never see one. And yet you're showing me one, right? In violation, rubbing it right in Einstein, saying, you're full of shit, Einstein. Yet you won't explain why Einstein was wrong. Why is it visible when it shouldn't be? Have you counter-argued or explained why Einstein didn't understand? What didn't Einstein understand about Einstein rings that you understand? And so you understand why they're really giant instead. Have you answered that question? No, you haven't answered any of my questions. 0. So anyway, the double slit experiment, as I've pointed out. So the video is up, okay? I got one called Photons, the simple answer, whatever it is, the sensible answer. 15-minute video, and I explained the double slit experiment, explained that it's scattered, it has nothing to do with any photons interfering. It has to do with breaking photons and remaking photons, blah, blah, blah. So again, there is no evidence. There's no image of the double slit experiment that debunks me. My explanation perfectly fits with the real pattern. It perfectly explains the real patterns and why they're created. So this is just an overt lie that you have any kind of double slit evidence. You don't have any double slit evidence that it in any way disagrees with every piece of my theory. Let's see, including the one done with electrons. Well, obviously, I've pointed out the one done with electrons isn't at all honestly described, because it has nothing to do with, machine gun, randomly firing electrons, and then none of that happens in the electron experiment. And electrons are charged, and how could you even put them? How could you even theoretically think you could shoot electrons through a slit when the surface of every atom is covered in electrons? So exactly how could electrons possibly be understood to be able to be not influenced by their charge? Quite obviously. Have you dealt with that question? No. Have you answered it? No. All right, electrons and the ones where they shoot photons one at a time. So again, I've already explained how you have no theory for shooting a photon one at a time. You haven't explained how the photons, this is one of the questions I asked DraftScience. The photon has a fairly giant polarization. Okay, so it's, it's doing this as it travels through space. It's occupying a big giant chunk of space. So no matter how it's flying, it's doing something like that. And this space is thousands of atoms of distance, the polarization. And they're telling you that a single electron, which is 1,000,000 times smaller than that, 1,000,000,000 times smaller than that, makes that. Somehow it makes one of these. Yeah. Have you answered that question? Have you explained how that's possible? No. All right, electrons, they shoot photons one at a time. So again, there is no evidence. There's no proof of any photon one at a time. All there is, sending fewer pieces of photons, and so few pieces that reconstruction becomes less and less possible because there's so little energy being used. But there is no proof of a single photon. All right. The diffraction in water waves. So again, that isn't even a conversation. There is no diffraction in water waves. If they're put in at the right frequency, there's no diffraction at all beyond the fact that you get one wave. There's no interference. Okay, no interference pattern created in water. So again, water does not do in the single slit the same thing as light does. Fact, fact, fact that you keep denying, and again, it's just an overt lie to imply that water waves create an interference pattern with a single slit. They do not. All right, the LIGO data. So again, the LIGO data means what to who. So there is no show me the LIGO data. My argument about LIGO is, first, you don't even understand how a beam splitter works. So explain to me how the half-silvered mirror, that's not really half-silvered because the glass is reflecting a percentage of the light, so it can't be half-silvered. It has to be a little less than half-silvered. Doesn't create a bunch of little slits. And that the light that goes through the little slits gets spread, gets diffracted, it gets spread. And the light that reflects off the mirror doesn't get spread. So the two beams are not at all equal. One beam is spreading the whole time it goes through the experiment. So one beam spreads and then reflects 1,600 times off mirrors, which means every time it reflects off the mirror, it spreads some more, and it spreads some more, and it spreads some more, it spreads more. And the other beam doesn't spread until the last little tiny, the last trip through the last beam splitter. So the whole thing, have you explained any of that? No. Have you explained how that's not a fact? No. Nothing. Absolutely zero from you. Okay. Muon decay. I played the muon video. You need a scintillator to cause this decaying event. Why do you need a scintillator? Why do you need a scintillator, right? If the muons naturally decay and create photons, why do you need a scintillator? What is it doing? What's its role? Oh, that's right. You'll have no explanation for that. And all of Stephen Bro's experiments. So again, the Stephen Bro video was so preposterously silly and bad. Obviously, I have already debunked some of the experiments. It's just ludicrous. I mean, crashing things into staples, a row of staples, is clearly not a tested means of measuring energy. I pointed out how the pawns he used as weight balances were way too light. And I pointed out how the last experiment he did with a spring that completely confirmed my prediction was probably the best experiment he did. So the best experiment he did out of the bunch completely confirmed my argument. And you're using that as an argument against me. Do you see how ludicrous this is? I mean, how you know, just how low, how base, how foolish are you going to be? Anyway, that you still haven't paid $50 for as promised. So there's no evidence I promised him $50. There's no evidence I promised him anything at all. I don't even know where you come up with the $50 number. It's hilarious. What the fuck are you talking about? I've made offers for $500. Okay, I mean, I said up to. You know, I made the offer. If somebody wishes to do the experiment, they have the hardware, they want to do these experiments, I offered to pay up to $500 to have it done well. What are you talking about? I didn't promise that I will pay you $50 to make a tacky video where you put porn images and music on top of the experiment. That the video is more crap than actual experiment. Oh, what a joke. So again, more lies. So they just can't help lying after lie after lie. And Stephen, it's all your fault, quite obviously. So it's your fault these other people think they can say that in your defense. So you've implied that I somehow agreed to pay you somewhere, and I never did that. And you're just allowing this lie to be propagated. And then you're going to claim you have any integrity? That you have anything other than bad ethics? You're the person with the bad ethics, retard. Okay, you were shown that MIT optical package that is used to design lasers. So I have no clue what that is. The optical package? Yeah, I don't know. And that models the single and double slit patterns exactly. So yeah, I have, sorry, no, I don't know what that exact reference is, but clearly, no matter what I've been shown, it's been shown in my videos, and I'm sure I explained why that's a pile of shit. Okay, again, my video shows exactly why the patterns are created, and you haven't debunked a single word in it, a single sentence in it. Okay, you were shown the Michelson-Morley, so this is, I was shown it? Yeah, I mean, it's a part of history. And as I pointed out, I don't think Michelson-Morley understood how the beam splitter works. Do you think they had good beam splitter theory? Do you really think the beam splitter creates two equal beams of light? The two beams of light are doing exactly the same thing. One of them isn't diverting, quite obviously, a lot more, which means larger path lengths. If you're kind of smart, you figure out that divergence means larger path lengths. But anyway, you were shown the Michelson and on and on. So there's no on and on. You were shown the gravitational lensing. So this is funny. Detected by the Very Large Array Telescope. So yes, radio waves. There's no images of anything. And clearly, as I pointed out, scatter. Okay, scatter guarantees the longest path and the shortest path. So when I scatter light, you know, around a massive object, and say if I just scatter the light because it's hitting little tiny bits. If you hit little bits, it means that you'll send some light this way and you'll send some light that way. Well, if you send it this way, see, that's the shorter path. See, if you send it that way, that's the longer path. So you could get radio waves back that are just scattering off particles, and there's a certain percentage that you would scatter will make it, you'll get some image. Now, you're not going to get a visual image, but the fact is you'll get the image. Technically, scatter could probably transmit images to other locations, but you'd have to have scatter in, like, it'd have to be a dense field of particles like Saturn's rings or something. So you might be able to see scattered images in different locations from Saturn's rings. But unless you have a really consistent particle field, you won't be able to see images. Anyway, so that's just silly. So again, this is all stuff I have argued in the video, so, you know. You even had an opportunity to test your theory with a laser bending experiment. So it wouldn't even be called that. So this is, again, you know, they keep bringing these things up, and, you know, this was an argument between me and Puro, and, you know, Puro is the one who argued it could be done. Okay, I didn't argue it could be done. I'm arguing that you really need to do it inside of LIGO or something. You need a really long distance, because as soon as you start using mirrors, you're fucked. And so the idea is you send a beam of light. So this is Einstein's experiment. You know, create the light clock and bounce the light clock back and forth. And if you're moving, if either the emitter or the receiver is moving, you'll find out, because the light isn't going to move while it's traveling. So if you can shoot a laser from a solid place on Earth, get it into the air for a while, then the Earth can move to a new location, right? And the laser won't hit where you thought. So like if there was a bullseye here, you could see that the bullseye is going to move while the laser is traveling in the air. And so that way you could see, oh, look, the laser hit here. So therefore the bullseye moved a certain amount of distance. Now the first problem is the distance is going to be very small. And the problem is that the laser, you know, the longer you shoot the laser, the bigger the laser dot gets. So you're trying to find something in the center that's tiny, you know, a millimeter of change in the center of something that's grown in size, you know, maybe 100 times or 1,000 times or even higher amounts of times bigger. So how could you find the movement of that center in something that's 1,000 times bigger? Pretty hard to do, I would argue. Anyway, so you even had the opportunity to do a laser bending experiment so I didn't have any opportunity to do it. I showed exactly the problem, right? I went out and I had some flat ground to work with, but it was woods. So I had to shoot it, you know, a few hundred yards to a tree. I put a mirror on the tree, shot the beam back. So that's as far as I got. Okay, but the problem is there's all kinds of crap in the way, so it was really a problem. And the bottom line is that when I saw how big the laser had gotten on the tree, just going a couple hundred yards, it was already this big. So I'm supposed to measure this tiny little change in here in a thing this big. That ain't gonna happen. All right. Okay, you were told that the spring depressed. Okay, so here we go. What was a bending experiment that you bought that laser culminator? So I never bought a laser culminator, so I don't know why he keeps bringing that part up. I bought a laser, you know, a nice green laser that was pretty good laser. I never bought a culminator, so that's just stupid. But never actually did it. But never actually did, for whatever that's not even a complete sentence. You were told that springs depress X units with, in part, the same kinetic energy. I was told? You were told that springs depressed X units will impart the same energy. Yeah. And 1.4 times the momentum. So I was told something that there's zero evidence for. It's not a fact. It's not real. It doesn't happen that way. The experiment I showed. See, this is the kind of thing where DraftScience could fix it all, right? We wouldn't even have to have this argument because he's supposed to know all this stuff. So would DraftScience say that the same spring compression, if I put a light object on it, it goes 1.4 in momentums? It doesn't get the same momentum as the heavier object I put on it. So depending on what size object I put on the spring, I get different momentums out of the spring. I'm sure he won't agree, but whatever. So you keep making an argument that I'm supposed to think is impressive. So I was told absolute Bugs Bunny bullshit. I was told Bugs Bunny loves Daffy Duck, and they had a many years affair, and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I was told a fable. An unevidenced fable. The momentum into an object twice as massive. And you were told that you could perform this experiment at a local community college. So again, more crap about somehow I have to do the experiments you haven't done. So you don't have to provide evidence, I do. That's your double standard, your clear double standard. So even though you have colleges teaching your physics, and you've had 350 years, and you've had millions of scientists, you don't have to produce any physical evidence. I do. Oh, yeah, that's fair. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff over the years. I'm sure you're a despicable liar, and, you know, you can only speculate, but man, what kind of creatures raised this cretin? You just dismiss all the stuff you're shown. So again, I haven't been shown anything. There's no physical experiment for this kinetic energy argument. Not a single physical experiment has I been shown. All right. And I'm the one who has shown the geometry of the double slit experiment. I've shown how it works. I've shown how you make the pattern. I've shown the vectors. Okay, as fake, just like flat-tards call images of Earth fake. So you can say it's just like, but I can't compare you to anything. You're just like a perpetual liar. You're a con artist and a fool and, you know, a horrible human being that you would make all these lies. You would just keep lying and lying and lying and doing it overtly because you're confident that all the people on your side, all the Yankee fans don't care if you lie about the Red Sox. You know, lie, 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 lie. And they all love it. Because what do the Yankee fans do if you piss them off? Yeah, that's right. They'll throw bottles at the other players. That's how cowardly they are. That's how dickless they are. You know, they can't make an argument. You know, and so they have to resort to personal attacks. Very, very petty. Very small people here. You know, very, very small people defending science. All right, so he says at DraftScience. Okay, so thank you for clarifying. So that was at me, right? All right, so so at least that's good. Okay, so at least he's saying, okay, you made your argument, good. But I almost feel like he was saying thank you to this asshole, but no, that's what it looks like, unfortunately. But anyway. Alright, so we'll move on to, should be just about done. So this guy, you know, they keep arguing twice as fast for twice as long equals 4 times the distance. So what? How does that prove 4 times the energy? So and I answered, I mean, this is a little bit technical, so frankly it's, you know, so what? What does it have to do with 4 times the energy? As a matter of technicality, it isn't really twice as fast for twice as long. So when they say that, it's not really true because gravity is only eating, you know, at 9.8 meters of velocity. It's imparting in the opposite direction. And remember, when it does that 9.8 meters of velocity, it only creates 4.9 meters of real distance. So when it's imposing a change, the fact is it's only imposing a certain, the average over the distance is half as much as what it actually took off the speed. So that's where it gets even more, a little bit more complicated. I mean, to be moving 9.8 meters per second, you only travel 4.9 meters. So your average velocity while you're gaining velocity is much less than, it's only 4.9 meters. All right, it's just that the constant stopping force, so gravity is a constant stopping force. It's a constant accelerating force and a constant stopping force. Takes twice as long to counter-absorb twice the speed. So if it's only taking this little chunk off each time, you know, if you have twice as much, you keep, you know, you go from, if one is 20 and one is 10, right? The 10 goes to 9. Well, the 20 only goes to 19. So it still has a lot of velocity. So it's incremental. And so it takes it a long time to eat the velocity, just like it takes it a long time to give you the velocity. That's why it takes 4 times the distance, all right, to create the velocity. Okay. The object spends more than half the time at the higher speed. So it's going to be going more than 10 miles an hour for longer. Okay. And that's why it ends up being 4 times the distance. All right. But, you know, subtle but not completely unimportant. So then the idiot, you know, the troll, just waste time with this one to finish off, right? To finish off this spectacular fail. DraftScience wears lipsticks, that is all. I mean, what's you know, these people are psychotic and crazy, and they should be discouraged, not encouraged. And it's just sad that as long as they're on somebody's side, you know, they'll find them quite acceptable. And that's just too bad for the internet. So anyway, fuck off. You know, an obvious racist. I mean, he's got some black woman, you know, bodybuilder. So this is another one of the ironies. So this is the same racist who'll call me anti-Semitic or some other kind of crap, spread these lies. So the people spreading the lies are actually, you know, have their own history on the internet that no one cares about. You know, they don't care about the racism, you know, as long as they don't see that. You know, they never test the character of the people pointing the finger. You know, and that's really another sad part of this whole horse shit. So anyway, just so annoying. And such. Nothing you can do though. You know, until the world forces the people to shape up, they're not going to shape up. You know, got to start punishing liars. Because they really have gotten out of control. All the fake news, all the bullshit. Lying's got to be a crime. So, till the next time, and such, and so forth, and whatnot. That's enough. Feels like enough. So, anyway. Yeah. So any naysayer, anyone who wishes to say I'm wrong, how much do I have to pay you? Okay, to engage in a conversation where, yes, I'll answer your questions and you have to answer mine. Yeah. This has been a DraftPhysics.com video presentation.